It's an earthquake. My name is Bill. This is Bill's Box of Sound. Thank you for joining us tonight. So, quick reminder, boys and girls, if you haven't got this already, what's keeping you from buying a copy? Get a copy of from me online. Go to Bandcamp and pick that sucker up. And if you don't have a vinyl way to play it, well, get yourself a download of it. Let me put the banner up so I can show it to you. And yeah, there you go. Get that. And also, while we are at it, I might as well ask you to press the like button down here. And if you are not already subscribed to this channel, please do so. All right. So, I wanted to do something. I am on Facebook, and I'm on a lot of different vinyl collecting groups. And one thing that happens is a lot of people who are newcomers to the habit of record collecting, they always ask questions. Some of these questions are really good. Some of them are really bad. And the sad thing about a lot of forums on the internet, not just Facebook, but Reddit, Instagram, and other things like that, but a lot of times somebody will ask a very valid question, and somebody will give that question a very snarky answer. Okay, so I thought that I would read a couple of questions that I found that I think deserve to be addressed, or maybe do not deserve to be addressed. Let's start with the first one. I'm planning on buying a new turntable, and I want to use my disc washer brush for cleaning. Is belt drive or direct drive better for disc rotation during cleaning? It really shouldn't matter, is my answer to that question. Now, if you're wondering what a disc washer is, well, that's this thing right here. I have shown this in ancient videos on YouTube. This is something that was sold in the 1970s. It's called the disc washer. It was made by a company called Disc Washer. And it came with this fluid that you could put on this edge. Then you ran the record, as the record was rotating, you ran it around there, and it picked up the dust and dirt, and then dried the record off. It's pretty cool. As a matter of fact, they even gave you a little brush that you could use to clean off this thing. And this was wonderful. And Disc Washer made a whole bunch of cool products as well. They made the SC1 stylus brush, which had a nice little mirror on it. Hello, boys and girls. And they also made a thing called the Zero Stat, which is still available, but it's not sold by Disc Washer. Some company called Milty bought it out. These things cost around $100, and these things are wonderful for keeping the static electricity off of your records. You just take a record if it's got the snip snaps of static electricity, or you can feel the hairs on your arm going up because of all the static electricity that was generated by playing the record. Just take this thing and you slowly squeeze the let's do it this way so you can see the trigger on it. With the finger on the trigger, yes, you squeeze it slowly. It releases positive ions. You release it slowly. It releases negative ions, thereby negating or stabilizing the electronic charge that is on this disc, helping to repel dust from the surface of the record, and also making it a little bit better sounding when it's played on the turntable. Um, if you live in Cleveland like I do, and you got all sorts of static electricity during the winter, this is a wonderful thing. But getting back to the original question of of belt drive or direct drive, well, first of all, you're not supposed to be playing the record while you clean it. You're not supposed to be pressing down on the record when you're cleaning it with this. Also, I very highly recommend a carbon fiber brush, such as the Audio Quest brush, which is, this is the newest version of it, which I believe contains, this is carbon fibers and conductive handle, so that all of the static electricity is supposed to go to ground on it. There are also other versions of that. A lot of other companies make these carbon fiber brushes. That's what they look like. And these, you just take this and it goes along on the record very slowly while you take the dust off of it and then take it off of the record. But it really shouldn't matter. Belt drive or direct drive, it does not matter whether or not, if you're using it properly. Okay? Next question. Has anyone ever used WD-40 for cleaning records? Yes, people have, is the answer for that. It's not a stupid question. People have. As a matter of fact, there have been people that use WD-40 and or rubbing alcohol to clean records. It's been known that record shops that sell used records will take lighter fluid, even put it on the record and rub it through so that you can get a very pristine looking surface, but also possibly damaging the surface on the record. I do not recommend using any oil-based solution or any alcohol-based solution on records, especially 78s, but that's a whole nother thing for a whole nother time. Use a cleaning fluid such as, got this TM8 Super Record Cleaning Fluid. That's one good thing. Mobile Fidelity also makes a good record cleaning fluid. Todd the Vinyl Junkie also makes a good cleaning fluid for records. But the best thing to clean records with is good old nothing but distilled water. Okay? Now, if you're going to scrub your records clean with distilled water and you want to add something to it, I would say add a drop of Dawn dishwashing detergent to a large amount of this stuff, just so you can turn it into a surfactant. But I digress. Distilled water is the best thing to clean your records with. If there's a company that makes a decent record cleaning fluid, buy that. Watch some videos. Find out about that. But don't use WD-40 on your records. It will not be good. All right. Next question. Every vinyl has a stamped number. If you Google that number, it tells you the year and where it was made. Really? I'm not too sure how accurate that is. The numbers and letters that are in the dead wax of a record, it's a whole science of its own. If you take a record and you look in the dead wax, You may see a stamped number in here, or you may see a written number in here. You may see the initials of the engineer that cut the lacquer of the record. You may see a secret inscription. Any record that was produced by Bill Simzik has stuff in the dead wax. But it's not a generic truth that every vinyl has a stamp number that if you Google that number, it will tell you the year and where it was made. That is not universally true. There may be some records that are like that. Next question. For those of you who ultrasonic clean your records and then rinse them to remove any possible residue, do or can you rinse under tap water, or should you use distilled water? Thanks in advance. Well, okay, that's a good question. If you've got a ultrasonic record cleaner, depending on what kind of ultrasonic record cleaner it is, you may have to pull it out of the solution or water, because personally, and here comes a big preview from my next record cleaning video, I have purchased this machine here. This is the Hummin Guru Ultrasonic Record Cleaner. This thing is really good, but it's not the only thing that you should use in cleaning your records. That's a preview, okay? But this thing ultrasonically vibrates distilled water onto the record and gets deep inside of the grooves with cavitation. And once that's done, it drains the water out and dries the record clean. And once the drying cycle is done, you can take the record out and take a soft lint-free cloth and dab any other droplets out of there that you need to out of it. But there are some ultrasonic cleaning systems that use some kind of a special solution, and then they want you to clean it. I recommend cleaning with only distilled water. Now, you can clean with tap water, but depending on your part of the country, there may be lime or other things in the water. The water that comes out of the tap, it's okay for drinking, but if you want to microscopically clean the records, distilled water is the best thing to clear stuff out. Some people even use reverse osmosis or filtered water. That's good too. Experiment, listen, enjoy, do what works best for you. But I would say distilled water is a good rule of thumb. Tap water is okay in most cases, but depending on how much you're spending on these records, if you're just cleaning up some old records you found at a garage sale, hey, that might be the good way to go. But still, I clean every record just about the same way. I even put brand new records through my cleaning process. So, more of that to come. Next question. How do people protect their collection in terms of insurance? I have my collection scanned into an app connected to Discogs, and I think the upper range in value is just under $50,000. I feel like I should document this on my homeowner's insurance policy just in case. A valid question, and I've heard that before. The best answer that I can come up for with that is that it depends on your insurance company. Check your policy for either your renter's insurance or your homeowner's insurance, and if necessary, talk to your insurance people. There are some insurance companies that will cover loss of records if they are stolen, if the house burns up or is flooded. It depends. And some of them will replace for replacement value. Some of them will look it up online and give you that value. Some of them may depreciate the value. Some of them don't think that records are worth what the free market price is on it. Also, it differs. Like, say, if you look on Discogs or if you look on PopPsych, they may give you different values of how much a record is worth. So, if your insurance company does cover loss of records, you have to have it documented. So if you do have a list of your records, and I keep two different lists, I keep Discogs, and I also have a Excel file, which I have a copy of on my computer, and I also have a copy in the cloud. So if something happens, I've got a list of all my records. And no, I don't have all of my records on Discogs. I have almost 2,200 of them, and I'm working on getting them all done. But yeah, it varies by insurance company, and every insurance company behaves differently. So that's a really good question about homeowners or renters insurance policy and your record collection. Next question: colored vinyl debate. Are colored vinyl records worth buying? Are they a money gimmick? Are they good or poor for sound quality? Yes and no to all of those. Because, if you're a collector and you want every version of an artist's record, if they come out with a black vinyl and a colored vinyl and you want to have them both, who are we to say that it's a bad thing to do? Sometimes an artist's record will only come out in a colored vinyl version. One thing that I would stay away from for most causes are glow in the dark records. They are noisy as hell. And also records that have half one color and half another color, especially if it's any songs that have quiet sections. Because when you mix different colors in a vinyl record, a lot of times you will hear noise variations as you go around there. Now, on most records, if it's a colored vinyl record and the music gets going, most of the time you will not be hearing any sound deterioration or surface noise because it is a colored vinyl record. One guarantee, though, the closest thing to a guarantee, is the best sounding records will be black vinyl records made from virgin vinyl. That's the best way to say that. A close second, and there are people that would argue this, are the Clarity vinyl records on the Acoustic Sounds ultra high quality records. These are pretty much clear. They call this Clarity vinyl, and they say that it's the quietest vinyl in the world. I think that the jury is still out on that. One thing I will say, picture discs are always noisy. Picture discs are just for collecting. Are they a money gimmick? Oh yeah, they are. I mean, come on. Taylor Swift's coming out with her new album in lots of different types of colored vinyl. I don't want to say vinyls because that's wrong. And also, a lot of these different variations have different covers, and there's one different song. There's a bonus song that's different on each album. That girl knows how to make money. So, once again, do your research. Colored vinyl is not necessarily bad. There's a lot of solid colored vinyl, which sounds great because the technology is really getting way up there. Let's see. Oh, here is now, how did that happen? Next question is, when alphabetizing a record collection, where would you put Crosby, Stills, and Nash at? Personally, under C for Crosby. A lot of people really got their panties up in a bunch, and their knickers as well, when iTunes came out. And if there was a record that was released by a solo artist, such as John Anderson, in iTunes, he would be listed under J for John. But most people, when you catalog something, true archivists use the last name first. So this would be under A. However, when it comes to your record collection, it's personal and it's yours. So you do it the way that you want. Just stay consistent. That's the best way to do it. Let's see, what do we got here? All right, one more question, because I got lots more, and then we'll go through here. Uh-oh. All right, this is a long question, and I'll read it to you. This is posted in one of the vinyl collector groups on Facebook, and it says here, "I'm new to the group and loving what I'm seeing. Thanks for having me. Here's a quick vinyl question. A friend recently told me that any current record that is pressed is just digital music pushed onto vinyl and isn't as good as the old analog stuff. So, do I care and should not buy the new St. Vincent record, or is there something to what he said? Kinda sucked the wind out of the room for me, as I like a lot of the new artists." Well, that's a great question. Because, yeah, the majority of the newer releases that have been coming out are not recorded on analog tape recorders. They're recorded on computers or some sort of digital form. And a lot of the CDs that come out are compressed so that the CD sounds as loud as it can possibly get. They futz around with that because you've got this headroom on a CD, and you can make it so that anything that isn't super quiet on the record is super loud, and it jumps out of your speakers at you. And that's what makes CDs sound bad. You can't necessarily do that with a vinyl record because it won't sound good at all. With vinyl records, you have to take a lot more care in mastering. And you have to take a lot more care in when you cut the master record and when you do the plating and the pressing and making of a vinyl. There are a lot of modern digitally recorded albums that sound better on vinyl because they have more dynamic range. The recordings breathe a bit more. It sounds better. So, in some cases, they will take a digital copy of a record and just slam it on the vinyl, and it won't sound that good. But there are a lot of digital recordings that sound much better on vinyl than on digital. It all depends on what's happened in the stages of taking that original recording and mastering it on to records or CDs or streaming or whatever. So, I mean, I love vinyl because it's something tangible. It's something that's big enough to look at. Somebody stated the other day that if I've got a bunch of digital files, I can just grab a CD drive and burn a CD and pop that in my CD player. If you still have a CD player in your car, you can pop that into there too. You can make a new CD. If you've got nothing but CDs and something happens to them, chances are you've got them ripped onto your hard drive, and you won't lose those because it's not tangible. In the old days, people would take their albums and they would record them onto cassettes. I mean, for a while, like back in the late 70s, early 80s, when I got a new album, I would record it onto a cassette and put the record on the shelf and just keep it clean, not play it unless I absolutely had to. So cassettes, you can record them. CDs, you can burn them. But this thing, you've got the front cover, the back cover, you've got the gatefold. A lot of times you've got the lyrics on an insert, and it's big enough so that you can see it. And when you take it out and you take this lovely piece of vinyl and you caress it this way, where you touch it only on the edge or the label, you put it down there and you wipe the dust off and you put that needle down, it's bliss. This is why people seek out advice on their audio systems. This is why they spend more money on upgrading their vinyl playback systems, their speakers, their headphones, their amplifiers, because they love the way their favorite music sounds. It's all about the music. And if you can bring yourself one step closer to a live performance of your favorite music in your listening space, it will make you so happy. That's what makes this wonderful hobby of collecting vinyl so wonderful and so frustrating and so expensive. And like the cartoon says, well, the thing that attracted me to vinyl was the expense and the inconvenience. So what can you do? All right, I think I pretty much addressed everything. Let's change the setting on the synthesizer. I'm not even looking at it. I'm just pressing the patch change button blindly, and I'm going to start turning it on, and then we will say goodnight. I want to thank you all so much for stopping by and checking out the Box of Sound tonight. Keep on listening to music. I had a great time, and I hope you did too. And hey, let's play some music. Ooh, that's cool.